The Sacrifice tells a tale of insurance, murder, and steamy affairs. Directed by Richard Greenberg, written by Ross Thomas, and shot by John R. Leonetti, based on a story from Shock Suspense Stories number 10. This episode is an extremely faithful adaptation. Nearly everything happens exactly as in the comic, but just enough of the little details are changed to throw the story right off the balcony. James waits in Gloria's penthouse. He has written a letter to the police, confessing he has murdered her husband, Jonathan, absolving her of any involvement with the crime. He drinks a bottle of poison and remembers the first day he met Gloria, the woman he loves. The show doesn't bother with the flashback structure. James is on his way to sell a policy to the obnoxiously rich Sebastian. Emphasis on obnoxious.
Very, impressive.
It ain't supposed to impress. It's supposed to awe. Are you awed, Mr. Reed?
Sebastian shows off his balcony overlooking the city and his collection of parrots. In both versions, as the two are talking, Gloria arrives. James falls in love with her instantly. He works out a deal with her husband and leaves quite the impression on her. We get some extra sleaze in the show. Sebastian demands 30% of James's commission if he wants the sale.
Son, I never pay the asking price for anything. Which is why I live here and you live where? Marina del Yuck?
Sebastian also adds that he is friends with James's boss, who recommended the salesman to him. The next day, Gloria meets James in secret, and in true Tales from the Crypt fashion, the two begin their affair in no time. Without a soul around to hear them, Gloria suggests to James that he could have her forever, along with her husband's fortune. All it would take is one simple push off of the balcony. However, in the TV version, it is James who tells Gloria they can kill her husband for his money and be together forever, because she is exactly what he wants.
Accidents happen. People even help them to happen.
No. I couldn't possibly bring myself to do something like that.
You wouldn't have to do anything.
I don't understand. Why would you even offer?
Because you are exactly what I want.
Only one night together and they're already devising a murder? Very smart. James meets with the husband once more to sign the policy. Gloria brings them out to the balcony to celebrate the new deal with champagne. In the comic, Gloria draws Jonathan's attention to the street below. With one fatal push from James, Jonathan falls to his demise. However, Sebastian doesn't go down that easy. In the show, he's able to hold on for dear life, just long enough to call his wife for help.
Help me, Gloria!
The body is taken away, and the police do not suspect foul play, as there was no motive. Why would there be when the insurance policy hadn't been signed yet? The coroner rules the death to be accidental. James and Gloria relax in the penthouse. They plan the next months of their romance in order to avoid suspicion.
Now we don't see each other for a while.
Right. For a few weeks, and then you drop over, you see if I need any insurance advice. I do. A romance slowly blossoms.
We're seen having dinner, taking in a movie or two?
6 months from now, we become engaged. A few weeks later, we're married. And they forget all about us.
The phone rings, and Gloria answers. She is in shock over what she hears. A man is on his way to talk about her husband's murder. Paul Nichols arrives. He lives in the building across the street and often admires Gloria through the window. And he saw everything that she and James had done. Mr. Nichols has written down what he saw and gave the sealed statement to his lawyer to be opened in the event of his untimely death.
Mr. Jasper.
James, invite your boss in.
The show complicates things further with a visit from James's boss, Jerry Jasper, played by the great Michael Ironside. James is surprised to see him. Gloria is furious. You see, Jerry was friends with Sebastian.
The fuck are you doing here, Jerry?
Sebastian was one of my oldest friends, Gloria. I thought I'd drop by and see if there's anything I can do.
Oh, there sure is. You can get the hell out of my house and out of my life.
And Jerry has always had his eyes on Gloria. And much like Paul Nichols in the comic, Jerry lives in the building across the street and frequently watches Gloria, even photographing her and her husband at times, like earlier that night when he took pictures of James throwing Sebastian to his death. This is blackmail, but our creepy extortionist doesn't want money. He wants Gloria for himself. Every night, James threatens to kill him, but Gloria relents. She will do anything to protect James. James is torn up about this, but Gloria assures him this won't last. She promises they'll spend their lives together. As the months trudge along, Gloria returns to James every morning, after spending degrading night after degrading night with their blackmailer. She becomes progressively more broken each time. James can't stand watching Gloria sink into despair. Finally, in the comic, Gloria begs James to save her. The show isn't as hopeful, as she tells James there is nothing he can do.
What can I do?
Same thing you've done every day for the past 3 months. Nothing.
This brings us to the beginning of the comic story. James has written his confession and drank the bottle of poison. As his life begins to fade, Gloria returns to the penthouse. He tells her he has mailed a confession to the police, clearing her name. She is delighted, and in James's dying moments, he hears Gloria pick up the phone, call Paul, and tell him her plan worked, that she could find somebody who would kill Jonathan for them. The show has Gloria finding James at his houseboat. He's swallowed a bottle of Nembutal pills that will kill him. As death closes its grasp on him, he hands her his written confession, clearing her of any wrongdoing. She burns the paper and leaves him with some salty last words.
Thank you, my poor dumb darling.
She drives off with Jerry. The two of them can be together, knowing there is no evidence of Sebastian being murdered, thanks to Jerry's plan.
Was there a confession, though?
Yes, a long and incriminating one. I burned it, of course.
Now nobody will ever know that Sebastian was murdered.
Thanks to your brilliant planning.
And your brilliant acting.
Except, we cut back to a shot of Sebastian's parrots, mimicking his cries for help.
Help me, Gloria!
I know, it's pretty dumb. The episode isn't as streamlined as the comic book. I feel like in order for all of this to play out the way it did, Jerry would have to have known exactly what James was going to do after striking a deal with Sebastian and sleeping with Gloria. I guess it makes enough sense for a self-contained story in a horror anthology, but in the grand scheme of things, I am not buying what they are selling. The comic gives us a manipulative femme fatale. The show gives us a man acting upon his dumbest impulses. It feels like a soap opera instead of a tale from the crypt.